Because of the Gentiles, those of the nations, their affinity and their lust to serve creation, the God of the sun, the God of the moon, the God of spring, the God of the grass and the trees and all kinds of animals. Because of that affinity, as we discovered, the rulers, the leaders of the now transitioned church from Jerusalem to Greece and to Rome and to the nations began to accept the rites, the customs, and the traditions that predates Messiah according to the flesh, that came before. We can even see some of this in the rebuke of Stephen pertaining to the children of Israel in the wilderness. How Father told in Deuteronomy 18, this is how the nations are worshipping their gods. This is how the surrounding nations worship their gods. But I want you to worship me this way. I'm sending you a prophet, and this is how you are going to observe and follow me, by shemaing him. And it just so happens, brothers and sisters, that though he was sent to teach the people how to hear what Father said from the mount at Horeb, that when he ascended, when the disciples of Yeshua gave up this fleshly tabernacle, that those who took the baton really took the baton and defiled the purity of the bride of Messiah. They mingled it with this adulterous lust to go and commit fornication with the gods of the other nations. And as a result, you have a complete distinction between the faith that was once delivered to the saints and what you see today. And it's amazing to me that all them years ago, the seed was sown that people who believe in Messiah Yeshua don't need to keep that Jewish law. They called them Judaizers, those who followed that way, the ancient way. And then after they embedded that notion that you don't need to do that, they embedded their own laws, not just religious laws. Think about all of the reactions you may have experienced pertaining to the word of God and the laws of his kingdom, the reaction you may get when you speak about the commandments of Jehovah, whilst at the same time, the same people who are disgusted that you may share that are so heavenly laden by the laws of men. So the doctrine is, we don't want you to believe and we don't want you to subscribe to the laws of God because you are free, you are saved by grace. But here are some of man's laws. While you're giving up the laws of God, which are called in the New Testament the perfect laws of liberty, here are some man's laws. Here are some rules. Here are some regulations. Here are some guidelines. And if you don't abide by those guidelines, then you'll go into captivity. But Jehovah was declaring that thousands of years ago. And it just so happens that because you rejected his law, that's why you're now in captivity.